It was 1944. And it was more than clear Germany was fighting a lost war. The Allies had landed in France, Italy had fallen, and the Soviets were pushing the Germans back since the year before. German cities were flattened by constant aerial bombing. Yet the Germans fought till May 1945. Why did Germany keep fighting a lost war? Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. If this is your first time here, welcome to History Hustle. I'm Stefan, history teacher, hustling history for you. Please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join the hustle. Let's start. Fighting till total destruction. That can be said for Germany in the last 10 months of World War II. Why did Germany fight until the point of self-annihilation? Why didn't the German soldiers desert en masse? Or start a revolt against a regime that was determined to go down in flames? Why did not something happen like at the end of World War I? A mutiny by German sailors in Kiel in November 1918. Some of you might say because of the Wehrmacht soldiers were indoctrinated. Others say out of fear of reprisals of the authorities. Yet these explanations aren't sufficient, and there are more, and there might be aspects you didn't know before. Early 1943, the Allies demanded a German unconditional surrender. By that time, the German Sixth Army was surrounded at Stalingrad and eventually surrendered. See, this was the first truly existential threat for the Third Reich, because an unconditional surrender would have meant Hitler stepping down from power. The Third Reich would cease to exist. From that point on, it was logical for the leaders of the Reich to carry on fighting. It was victory of death. It was all or nothing. Yet this is not an adequate explanation of why many Germans kept on fighting till 1945, because by 1944, the support of the party leadership had dwindled severely. At the end of March 1945, the Western Allies held a survey among captured German soldiers. Only 21% claimed to have faith in the Führer, contrary to 62% in January. Now it is hard to determine how popular the leader of a totalitarian state really was. It's not that there were public opinion polls or elections of some kind, yet many reports showed people were sick of the war. We have to make a clear distinction of what people were actually done with. Some people were done with the war, just supported the party. Others severely hated the party, but held on to their belief in Hitler. For us, studying history and having the benefit of hindsight, we see that the continuation of the war was because of the party, and the party was because of Hitler. Yet, many people back then had different thoughts about this, and had their own motivation to carry on the struggle. In October 1944, the Soviets entered East Prussia and were now on German pre-war soil. They took control over a village called Nemmersdorf. A German counterattack drove them out. When the Germans retook control over the village a few days later, they made a horrible discovery. The German field police who arrived later to find out what exactly happened reported 26 bodies. Mostly old men and women, also a few children were among the dead. Most of them shot in the head. 2 women were assaulted and looting, and arson had occurred. Now, for the German propaganda machines, this case was a double-edged sword. Sure, it could help boost German morale to fight the Soviets, knowing how evil they were. But the letting the public know the enemy was actually inside the borders wasn't the best propaganda either. Eventually, the German propaganda machines eagerly exploited the story, since the Germans did retook the village. Outrageous horror stories of Soviet atrocities appeared in the German press. Stories about mutilations were spreaded and exaggeration of the death toll occurred. Because of this, it is kind of hard to determine what exactly happened in the Nemmersdorf village, though it is to remember the nature and purpose of propaganda exploitation, the atrocities. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying the Soviet crimes here.